the first one-day national conference on aging held on Thursday, 6 December 2018 at the National Women Development Center, Abuja. The preamble. Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSROPIN, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, organized its one-day national conference on aging with the theme, Stepping into the Future, the Nigerian Perspective on Aging, Caregiving, the Rights and Privileges of Older Persons in Nigeria, which took place at the National Women Development Center, Abuja, on Thursday, 6 December 2018. The conference, attended by over 360 delegates from across the nation, was chaired by His Excellency Dr. General Yakubu Gowon, retired, GCFR, former head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with many other dignitaries, including some former honorable ministers, retired generals, traditional and religious leaders. COSROPIN President's welcome address. The coalition's president, Senator Dr. Eze Ajoko, in his welcome address, expressed regret that Nigeria was at a crossroad regarding the place of the older persons in Nigeria in nation building, and pointed out the huge gulf that needed to be urgently bridged to instill confidence in the elderly citizens, including the teeming middle age who are transiting to elderly status. He called on government to lay a solid foundation that will endanger confidence, to enable citizens face their old age with less anxiety. Specifically, he said, aging is not an emergency situation or an accident, but a transitory period of maturation, a process that every human being prays to go through. He thus called on the national planners and development planners or planning agencies to capture these mandatory transition processes in their programs. It was with the singular objective to harness and harvest multi-sector intervention towards developing a blueprint for sustainable social investment and action plan for the aged and elderly that the Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSROPIN, hosted the Unique Conference. The coalition objectives. 1. To advance, support, and protect the welfare and well-being of older persons in Nigeria. 2. To affirm and protect the rights of older persons in Nigeria as guaranteed by the Constitution and the law, as well as other regional and international human rights instruments to which Nigeria is a party. 3. To strive for the provision of quality health care to older persons in Nigeria. 4. To oppose every discriminatory and disadvantageous policy or legislation adversely affecting the rights, security, dignity, and dignity of older persons in Nigeria. 5. To politically present a strong, united lobby in the federal and state executives, legislatives, as well as other statutory bodies on matters affecting older persons in Nigeria. 6. To establish, control, and foster links with similar organizations and international fora. 7. To promote the recognition of the wide-ranging expertise and services provided by older persons in Nigeria. 8. To gain recognition and act as the appropriate and established voice of older persons in Nigeria and lastly, to engage in any other activities allowed under the law in furtherance of the interest, value, privileges, and rights of older persons. The conference aims. The conference aims and objectives included: 1. Sensitizing government on the plight of older persons' issues, such as health, pension, housing, empowerment programs, travel benefits, and so on. 2. Encourage respect, rights, and dignity of older persons and prevent their abuse. 3. Solicit the support of privileged Nigerians in the advocacy for the rights and privileges of older persons. 4. Creating and taking advantage of every opportunity to seek cooperation with all relevant agencies in Nigeria. 5. Demanding for legal, institutional, and caregiving framework on aging and older persons in Nigeria. 6. Aggregating the way forward on aging in Nigeria. 7. Bringing together all stakeholders under one umbrella and getting all stakeholders registered officially as corporate members of the coalition at the end of the conference. Chairman's opening remark. The chairman, retired General Yakubu Gowon, GCFR, was delighted at the novel activities of COSROPIN in galvanizing attention and action on issues relating to aging and older persons at all levels in Nigeria. He then called on all authorities and governments to heed COSROPIN clarion call, as it is the desire of everyone to benefit from longevity and old age. He promised to put all his contact, facilities, and resources at the disposal of COSROPIN's lofty goals and aspiration. Keynote paper. Keynote paper titled Stepping into the Future, the Nigerian Perspective on Aging, Caregiving, Rights and Privileges of Older Persons in Nigeria, was delivered by His Excellency Ambassador Professor Ibrahim Agola Gambari, CFR, who was unavoidably absent but was ably represented by Ambassador Abdullahi Omahi, who eulogized COSROPIN in blazing the trail as a collective, as blazing the trail as a collective of seasoned Nigerians who chose to be burdened by the all-important subject of aging and older persons neglected over the years in Nigeria. He pledged the cooperation and collaboration of Savannah Centers, a think tank for research, training, and policy debate in order to help in achieving the unique aims and objectives of COSROPIN. Goodwill messages. Goodwill messages were given by the following: Dr. Ifeoma Anibok, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development; Alhaji Muhammad B. Umar, Representative of the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Abuja; Chief Chuka Ogodi, Representative of His Royal Highness the Obi of Onitsha; Dr. M.M. Omokaro, Executive Director, Dave Omokaro Foundation; General Chris Garaba, retired, and Architect Chief Gabriel Yakubu. Breakout sessions. The conference thereafter received well-researched presentations at the ensuing breakout sessions from the following researchers. A. Civic Engagement and Volunteerism for the Aged, A Way Forward, by Mrs. Ifoko. Omaigwe Okauru, MFR, former chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, and now Chief Program Officer of Dagomo Foundations, Nigeria. 2B, community programs for maintaining physical health, social well-being, spiritual and mental cognition into old age by Mazi Mwaka Oti, Executive Administrative Director of Grace Nursing Home Care in Abuja. C, age-friendly design for accessibility, initiatives for the public-built environment, houses, retirement and care facilities by architect Yinka Williams, the initiator of Lemon Feathers Limited, a consultant and renowned researcher. D, public health policies related to the aged by Dr. Christopher Ugboko, Head of Gender, Adolescents, School Health and Elderly Division, the Department of Family Health, Federal Ministry of Health. Lastly, defining and protecting the rights of older persons across population, ages, and group by Musa Salih, Director, Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, National Human Rights Commission, Abuja. Resolutions. The conference in session, having taken critical look at the presentations and deliberations, resolved as follows. 1. Appreciated efforts of the Nigerian government through the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development for the collaboration with the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons, COSROPIN, for a successful conference. 2. Advocated a legal framework to back up efforts in the advocacy for the care of older persons and elderly, and called on the next National Assembly to reintroduce the bill for an act to provide certain rights and privileges of older persons, submitted to the Senate President by COSROPIN on the 28th of February 2018, in order to put in place appropriate legal infrastructure guaranteeing cross-cutting protection and rights for Nigerian senior citizens. 3. COSROPIN called on government at all levels to join hands with her in her determination to ensure Nigeria joined the Committee of Nations, which propagate, respect, and enforce the rights of older persons whose vulnerability is recognized worldwide. 4. Called on federal and state governments to consider the establishment of a commission for aging and elderly persons, with a view to providing an environment which will encourage and promote active living for all age groups, thus fostering social capital and sense of community living. 5. Called on federal and state governments to establish geriatric hospitals all over the country to specifically address diabetes, hypertension, eye problems, arthritis, and waist pains, amongst other aging medical challenges. 6. Called on the government to provide jobs for our teeming youths so that they could look after their aged parents, thus reinforcing our well-acclaimed social inclusiveness. 7. Called on Mr. President and state governors to appoint senior special assistants on aging and older persons, having noted that this was the only member of the vulnerable group whose interests were not receiving appropriate attention in the highest level of governance. 8. Demanded that the health insurance scheme of federal and state government should include the provision of social welfare for the elderly. 9. Called on government to factor the elderly, especially those in rural areas, into a social security scheme which will include loans and other financial assistance because they have, in their younger years, served the nation. 10. Federal and state governments should, as a matter of priority, establish social housing programs for retirees and other persons in their towns and villages in order to decongest urban centers. 11. Called on federal government, federal, state, and local governments to appoint desk officers domiciled in the appropriate ministries to take care of matters relating to the aged and the elderly. 12. Wanted government to finalize and put into effect the National Policy on Aging, which is being anchored by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. 13. Expected that in putting the new law creating the senior citizen centers into effect, COSROPIN will be considered as part of the monitoring team. 14. Finally, COSROPIN calls on all political parties and demand from them to include issues on aging and elderly in their political manifesto and agenda of government. Conclusion. The conference in session remained appreciative to all delegates for conducting themselves very maturely, depicting good behavior for senior citizens, which they are, and further called on relevant authorities to review all matters affecting older/elderly persons with the compassion and seriousness they command. Thank you very much.